Three poll came out over the weekend to tell the public opinion on Biden has reached a watershed. What do the poll tells us?
Economic growth slowed down the third month in a row. What are the reasons?
California auditor released the biannual report on Governor Newsom's mismanagement in 7 areas. Does this bode well for Newsom for the recall election?
Also feature stories on Safe Chat. We have 2 stories. Number 1, what was President Trump's plan to withdraw from Afghanistan?
And the second has to do with the California governor recall election is gathering steam. People up and down California held a rally on the street in last weekend. And who are those people? And why it may signal the direction of the recall? Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
I'm Kathy Zhang.
Okay, so same thing. We're gonna do the news of the day on the YouTube. Afterwards, we're gonna move on to the Safe Chat. If you have not done so, please install the Safe Chat app so that you can see us over there. All right, so first let's jump into the first piece of news. Has to do with the poll. 3 polls was released over the weekend. Understandably, the pollsters are busy really just releasing their finding given the crisis that is unfolding in Afghanistan. But before I let you know the poll result, mind you that the NBC News poll, the CBS News poll, personally, I know that they didn't do an honest job during the last November election. So I told you guys back then, I said, we cannot trust them. So, but anyway, they are the main, pollsters who is doing such a polling job. So that's the only news we have to deal with. And my advice is just, view them with a grain of salt, as we know that they're leaning leftward, to the left. And given the situation, you can still read something out of it. Okay, so first one has to do with the CBS News poll. It shows the majority of Americans no longer believe President Joe Biden is competent in his role as the commander-in-chief. All right, 51% of the respondents said that Biden is not competent in his position as president, and this is compared to only 49% who said he is. So basically, that's the reason for the title for the watershed.
Okay, so second poll, NBC News poll. 60% of the respondents said that they disapprove of Biden's handling of Afghanistan, comparing to only 25% of them who said that they approve of his decision. Overall, Biden's approval rating is less than 50% in the poll as well. Only 49% of the respondents said that they approve of his job performance, comparing to the 48% who disapprove of it. So this compares to the same poll in April that showed Biden's job approval rating was at 53% and the disapproval was at 39%.
Yeah, so the gap of 14% between approval and disapproval in April shrunk to 1% as of now. The third poll has to do with the CIVIQS, which is a rolling average. They surveyed 90,000 people, all right? So between January 20th up to today, and up to 3 days ago, August 20th. So basically, their finding is this: President Biden's job approval, the approval rate is 43%, while the disapproval rate is 50%. All right, and also there's this chart. Their findings are 39 states. The approval rate is below 50, and then one state, which is Colorado, is equal approval versus disapproval. Only 12 states on the coastal side of this country have a approval rate of Biden's job above 50%. Maybe can we see the chart? If you look into that, it's there's a report there. If you look into that, it's quite startling for you to read through those numbers. And anyway, I think it's a little too rushed to find it out in such a short time. Let's move on to the U.S. economic growth or the economy recovery.
Okay, so the U.S. business activities growth slowed for a third straight month. in August, weighed down by supply chain disruption, hiring woes, and softer consumer demands linked to the spread of the Delta variant of COVID-19. That's according to the data firm IHS Markit. Its U.S. Composite PMI Output Index, a combined measure that tracks both the manufacturing and the services sectors, fell to 55.4 in August, which is the slowest reading since December 2020 and actually in July it was at 59.9. And regarding a reading above 50 across the company's various business activities gauges reflect growth, and below 50 reflect negative growth.
In the meantime, the prices are posted to continue to rise sharply, as you must have felt, and driven by the shortage of materials and the labors. However, this is the good news out of the bad news, which I really don't like. If the cooling in demand observed in August continues, this would alleviate some of the inflationary pressures. Well, anyway, and Goldman Sachs Economics last week slashed their forecast of the third quarter gross GDP of the U.S. from 9% to 5.5%, almost cutting half. All right, so that's what's happening, newest news of the economy. Let's move on to California. Actually, California State Auditor, they release a report. They do this every other year. Okay, so the report basically focuses on what are the agencies or the areas of the California state that have a high risk status. So Kathy.
Yeah, so this report released last week actually show there are 7 major risks, high risks. So it really, in summary, provided a grim assessment as the current Governor Newsom faces a recall election on September 14th. So what are the areas? Water infrastructure, information security, state management of the COVID-19 federal funds, and that's just among the 7 highest risks areas.
Yeah.
So what are the agencies that have risks?
Well, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the California Department of Technology, California Department of Health Care Services, and the Public Health, and the teachers retirement system. So they removed one area from the risky status, which is the oversight of the K-12 education funding. Okay, because that has improved. However, the report harshly criticized the EDD, Employment Development Department. So what do? They just dispatched unemployment payment checks and also the compensations for the maternity leave. So the report found that $10.4 billion for claim since that is sent out during the COVID-19 period time may be fraudulent. Actually, the government number put that to $30 billion, all right? So the EDD has been reported, this EDD has sent unemployment checks to prison inmates. Well, you're not working, let's give you some unemployment checks. So which, while the truly deserving Californians wait months for money that they need, and they don't arrive until many, many days later. All right. Also, the water infrastructure. As you know, California largely is a dry state. All right, and it has a lasting drought right now. So the problem in the water infrastructure and has a lot of problems that are causing the future access to the water to alleviate the drought. That's another major area. So anyway, but this thing just came out only what time is it? They came out just last week. And then it's not for the governor recall election, but they just came out this time every other year. So the report does not help Governor Newsom very much for the upcoming September 14th recall election, which is the fourth time in this entire country. So this country does not do governor recall very often.
Right.
Okay, only 4 times. And all right, and 2 times happened in California. Last time is the Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger, as you recall. All right, that's
So what are the people, how is this direction, record direction is going? That's actually not only California people are cares about, right? Also, it attracted nationwide attention. So we're gonna share with you the feature story on Safe Chat. So please follow us to Safe Chat, sign up so you can make comments. So actually, Kamala Harris, the VP, already announced that she's gonna come to California this week to campaign for Newsom.
Yeah, that was reported earlier that Biden is invited to come to campaign for it. Then there's enough commentary around that whether he's going to do that, because it just may not help. And Biden is in the deep trouble himself. So having him coming out to California, well, may not help. So anyway, well, we'll see that. If I ask my opinion, I think probably won't see that. Anyway, today we have two feature stories. Normally we'll only have one. We'll have two stories because, they're important enough. All right, let's move on to the Safe Chat with us. And Safe Chat, our staff, please post the link there. Please install the app, and we do, we're over there, and we can talk much more freely. Anyway, let's move together. How about that? 1, 2, 3.
Let's